If there's one genre that never lets you rest, it's survival. Doesn't matter if it's the forest, snow, ocean, or the apocalypse, the world is always ready to crush you. And with every game on this list, the tension only gets worse. These titles are intense, creative, brutal, some are beautiful, others disturbing, all of them unforgettable. So get ready because this video will make you want to fight for your life in every single one of them. Before we start, tell me what's the survival game that made you feel like you were right on the edge? That one where every step felt like your last and every resource actually made a difference? And if you can, subscribe to the channel to help it grow. It might seem like a small thing, but it means a lot. All right, let's get started. Grounded begins with a simple and absurd idea. You've been shrunk down and now have to survive in a backyard that's become a hostile jungle. A familiar place turns into a living nightmare where everything is bigger, more dangerous, and completely unpredictable. Dewdrops become waterfalls, bugs become monsters, and a single leaf can either hide you or kill you. Nothing is familiar, even if it looks like it. Every step takes focus. The game forces you to think small in a big way. Building shelter, finding food, staying dry or warm, all of it becomes life or death. The world's physics work against you, and learning how to deal with that is part of the fun. A twig might be a bridge, a straw a trap, and the insects, they have routines, territories, real reactions. Pick a fight with one ant, and you might face the whole colony. Progression feels rewarding. You start with nothing, hiding behind rocks, and end up with advanced bases, improvised weapons, and safe routes across the map. But nothing comes easy. Every discovery takes trial, error, and guts. The game doesn't guide you, it watches how you adapt, and when you finally succeed, it's hard not to feel proud for beating a world that's so much bigger than you. Even with its lighter tone and cartoony style, Grounded surprises with constant tension and the kinds of stories that just happen. A random encounter, a last-second escape, a base destroyed by something you didn't even know existed. Every session is different, and before you know it, you're already planning your next night, because surviving this backyard has become a matter of pride. Subnautica doesn't start with a war or an explosion. It starts with silence. You crash into an alien ocean surrounded by water in every direction, not a single piece of land in sight. It's just you, a damaged life pod, and a mysterious world that seems peaceful until you dive deeper. The beauty of the ocean tricks you, because what lives down there doesn't always want to share the space. And soon, curiosity turns to tension. The deeper you go, the darker it gets. And not everything wants to be found. The game doesn't explain things to you. You have to figure out how to build, purify water, handle radiation, and avoid predators. Every material you find has a use, and every dive carries real risk. Limited oxygen makes you plan carefully, and as you progress, the ocean becomes darker, more hostile, more terrifying. Strange sounds echo, signs of lost civilizations appear, and that constant feeling creeps in that something is watching you. Progress takes real work. You start with basic flippers and end up with submarines, underwater bases, and drones. But every win costs something. Nothing is handed to you. You explore, gather, calculate, and just when you think you're in control, the game changes the rules again. The map expands, the pressure increases, new areas show up and demand more from you. You're not welcome in the deepest zones, but that's where the answers are. Even with all the tension, Subnautica finds time for peace. Floating next to massive creatures, watching the sun filter through the water, building a quiet base in a hidden corner. The game rewards you with beauty between the fear, and that's what makes it so special. You don't feel like you conquered the ocean, you feel like it allowed you to survive one more day, and that's enough. Frostpunk 2 starts with a cold that never ends. Cutting wind, endless snow, and a group of people counting on you to survive. The world is gone, and all that's left is heat. One massive generator at the heart of the city that you need to keep running no matter what. But the cost is brutal. Every decision affects lives. Food is scarce, wood runs out, and the weather keeps getting worse. You decide who works, who rests, who lives, and who dies. Should kids work? Should harsh laws be passed? The game offers no easy answers. It puts you on the clock, and slowly, decisions turn into sacrifices. People react, some trust, others hate, and the question never goes away. Are you still a good person, or just another leader hiding guilt under layers of snow? The crises are constant and cruel. First hunger, then disease, then despair. You need to build, research, expand, but every choice drains your energy and the people's trust. If they lose faith, they might leave. If they lose fear, they might rebel. And in the middle of it all, you just pray for the storm to hold off. One more day could save everything or destroy it all. Frostpunk doesn't pretend there's a happy ending. It shows that surviving means making choices that hurt, and that leading, when everything is falling apart, comes with a price. You'll save lives, you'll lose others. You'll watch families fall apart in the snow, and when the generator finally dies and silence takes over, the city might still be standing. But what's left of you? Ark Survival Evolved wakes you up naked, with no memory, on a strange beach surrounded by prehistoric creatures. You look left and see a raptor. Look up and see floating tech structures. Nothing makes sense, but there's no time to figure it out. You need to run, eat, build. The world is hostile, unpredictable, and every wrong move can kill you in seconds. The mechanics blend survival, crafting, exploration, and domination. You can tame dinosaurs, build a village, create factories, but it all depends on resources, time, and strategy. Building a base takes real effort. Keeping animals alive takes dedication, and protecting all of it from other players or the wild creatures becomes a routine that's exhausting but addictive. The map is huge and full of surprises. Different biomes, hidden ruins, legendary bosses. Each area comes with unique challenges: freezing cold, burning heat, insanely aggressive creatures. Your character and your base are always evolving. You feel like you're claiming territory, and soon, you're not just surviving, you're building an empire. Ark is about climbing higher and higher, about falling, losing everything, and starting over. And even with all its complex systems, what stays with you is the feeling of achievement, of seeing a giant dinosaur you tamed walking beside you, and knowing that, for all the chaos, that was your doing. Conan Exiles doesn't care about mercy. You wake up crucified in the middle of a desert, rescued by someone who disappears right after. No name, no shelter, no backstory, just dust, scorching heat, and a savage world ready to tear you apart. But it doesn't take long to realize this place isn't just hostile, it's powerful, and it's up to you to decide how you'll survive, and more importantly, who you'll become. The freedom is brutal. You can build a village, become a king, or enslave your enemies. You can hunt, tame, conquer entire regions. The crafting system is deep, with tons of branching paths and choices. The map is huge and diverse: forests, swamps, mountains, ancient ruins. Each area brings new dangers, creatures, tribes, and secrets buried by time. Combat is physical, intense, and demands focus. Swords, spears, bows, magic, you feel every hit, every choice carries weight. And even with all the violence, what sticks are those moments of victory. Climbing a mountain and seeing your base in the distance. Making it back alive from an expedition. Finding a legendary location. The game rewards you with a real sense of growth. Conan Exiles is raw, savage, and addictive. A game where the world doesn't want to kill you, it just doesn't care if you die. And once you master the chaos, once you learn how to make it work in your favor, the feeling is unforgettable. It's not just about survival, it's about taking control, carving your place out of the desert, and making everything else bow to your presence. 7 Days to Die mixes building, survival, and horror in a cycle that seems simple. You have 7 days until hell breaks loose. During the week, you gather resources, reinforce your base, get ready. On the 7th day, the horde comes. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter how safe you think you are, they will find you, and what was once a management game turns into a desperate fight to survive a few more minutes. The world is open, ruined, and filled with danger. Abandoned buildings, ghost towns, deadly forests. You never know what's waiting around the corner. Could be a stash of food or a trap. The game doesn't forgive distractions. Zombies break walls, climb, surround you, and at night they run. You'll hear the screams before you see the eyes. Then it's fight or flee. Building is one of the deepest parts of the game. Every base can be customized with traps, towers, pits, and escape routes, but everything needs to be tested. One structural flaw, and it all collapses when you need it most. The tension is always in the planning. Will the gate hold? Will you make it back before dark? The game forces you to think through everything. Every detail matters. 7 Days to Die is about preparation, but also adaptation. Because sometimes everything goes wrong, and when your base is in ruins, your ammo's gone, and running is your only option, that's when you understand what this game's really about. Surviving 7 days is just the beginning. The challenge is making it through the next 7, and the 7 after that. Days Gone isn't exactly like the other survival games on this list, but the feeling of being constantly on edge, of fighting the world and yourself, is there in every second. The road is long, supplies are limited, and threats come from all sides. Violent groups, random ambushes, creatures that hunt in packs and never let up. You're not trying to save the world, you're just trying to stay alive one more day. The bike is everything. It's shelter, transport, shield, and a symbol of freedom. You take care of it like it's your own life. Fuel it, repair it, protect it. Getting stranded means death. Every town has stories. Every forest hides danger. The world is beautiful and cruel at the same time. And when everything feels too quiet, something is definitely about to go wrong. Tension never leaves, and you learn to respect the silence. The narrative unfolds in layers. You find pieces of a world that collapsed, people who still believe in something, and others who've only survived through hate. There's no right side, just hard choices. And with every new mission, you feel the weight you're carrying more and more. The game throws moral dilemmas at you, forcing you to see what desperation does to people. Even without hardcore mechanics or complex crafting, Days Gone delivers something few games do: the constant sense that the world is against you. And that's why it belongs on this list. It's not about resources, it's about endurance, about moving forward when everything says you shouldn't. And in the end, that's what true survival is all about. Everything shut down. A geomagnetic storm knocked out satellites, killed communications, made planes fall from the sky, and that's how you woke up in the frozen forest of a remote Canadian island, not knowing if anyone else is still alive. The long dark doesn't start with an explosion, but with silence, a cold apocalypse, no monsters, no futuristic weapons, just nature and your instincts. Every morning, you wonder if you'll see another. The game doesn't help you. It drops you in. Hunger, cold, thirst, and loneliness are your only companions. You need to chop wood, boil snow, hunt, set traps, and run from starving wolves. There's no help and no objective except surviving. Everything depends on how you read the world, your pace, your ability to stay calm when everything starts closing in. Surviving here takes attention, planning, and courage. But what hits hardest is the silence. You walk through frozen forests, see auroras cutting the sky, and hear the wind like it's trying to warn you. The beauty of the scenery clashes with the constant hostility. A safe shelter today could be a death trap tomorrow. And there's no soundtrack to ease the tension, just the crunch of snow under your feet. That's what makes the game so immersive. It doesn't need jump scares, it just needs the truth. The Long Dark is slow but deep. It doesn't try to impress with action, it makes you think about every move. And when everything seems lost, a small victory like finding a can of beans can become the most powerful moment of your journey. This game is worth every cent because it doesn't pretend to be heroic. It's raw, lonely, difficult, and that's exactly why it's unforgettable. You arrive looking for a missing team and find something much worse. In Sons of the Forest, it always feels like something is watching you from the trees. And it is. The forest breathes, screams, hides horrors. Building shelter, finding food, and defending yourself from creatures that look human but clearly aren't becomes your daily grind. Nothing in this place is safe, not the day, not the night. The tension never fades. The building system is intuitive and detailed. You actually cut the trees, stack the planks, attach everything by hand. It's not just clicking and watching a base appear. Here, you feel every bit of progress. And combat? Brutal, tense, sometimes desperate. It's not about swinging and running. It's about surviving, wounded, afraid, waiting for the next strike. The enemies stalk, observe, communicate. They're smart. Graphically, it's a massive leap. The forests are dense with realistic lighting and dynamic weather that affects how you play. Rain muffles sound, snow hides footprints. Every element is designed to make you feel exposed. The atmosphere is heavy, almost suffocating. You never feel safe. The forest itself feels alive and dead set on swallowing you whole. Sons of the Forest never gives you peace, not even in the calmest moments. It always feels like something is just about to happen, and it usually is. Even moments of quiet are deceptive. Just when you think you've learned the rules, the game flips them. That's why it's worth every second and every penny. Because few games make you this paranoid, and still keep you hooked until the end. The world is gone, and what's left? You need to organize. In State of Decay 2, you're not just fighting zombies, you're fighting chaos. You build your base, manage supplies, build relationships, and constantly face tough calls. Who's worth saving? How many bullets can you afford on a supply run? Survival is a team effort, but not everyone's on your side, and that makes everything feel unpredictable. Gameplay revolves around management: food, morale, ammo, medicine, defense, and your group's mental state. Every survivor has strengths and flaws, and every loss hurts. You feel it when someone dies, not because they were a special character, but because they were your cook or your last decent shot. The whole base starts to fall apart, and that's on you. The game holds you accountable every second. Combat is raw and tense, focusing more on pressure than speed. It's easy to get surrounded, Ammo is always low, and when you're in the dark, flashlight flickering, and you hear something creeping up on you, that chill hits hard. The atmosphere is oppressive, but grounded. You really feel like you're in a messy, unstable, collapsing apocalypse. What makes the game shine is how one bad call can ruin everything. Ignoring a help request, a fight within your group, a supply run with no gas, and yet you keep going. Because building something that actually works in this mess feels amazing. State of Decay 2 is about rebuilding, with mistakes, losses, failures, but rebuilding anyway, and that makes every second worth it. You wake up naked, no food, no shelter, no dignity, and next to you, another player, probably ready to bash your skull in with a rock. Rust isn't nice, it's chaotic, cruel, and completely unpredictable. You start at the bottom, and if you're smart and paranoid, you might end up with a fortress full of guns. But until then, you'll die dozens of times. You'll be betrayed, blown up, backstabbed, and you'll keep playing. Everything is about building and breaking. You gather resources, construct your base, defend your land, but it can all vanish in one raid. So every structure demands planning, location, and pure paranoia. Playing Rust means living in constant alert. Even your friends might turn on you. And the server never sleeps. When you log off, your base might be under siege. The world is harsh. Deserted beaches, dusty plains, dark forests, a constant emptiness that mixes tension with distrust. You never know if someone's watching. Every step could be an ambush, and there's no quest log. You make your own story, bad decisions, broken alliances, stolen victories. It's pure chaos turned into gameplay. And as insane as it sounds, it's addictive. Because everything you achieve, you earned. Nothing came easy, you bled for every item, and when you look at your trap-loaded base packed with loot, you know you survived. Not because the game helped, but because you learned to survive in one of the harshest worlds gaming has to offer. And that makes Rust worth every cent. You wake up in the heart of the Amazon jungle, dirty, injured, and alone. Green hell gives you no time to breathe. From the start, everything around you can kill you. Hunger, thirst, injuries, parasites, animals, plants. This isn't just survival, it's about the psychological weight of isolation. The jungle becomes a character, hostile, unpredictable, and alive, and you need to learn how to deal with it. Every action has consequences. Eat the wrong thing? Poisoned. Treat a wound poorly? Infected. The crafting system demands focus. Building fires, making medicine, hunting, constructing shelter. No magic buttons. It's all manual. Even your watch displays critical info, but if you don't learn how to read it, it's useless. Everything here requires real learning. The jungle is thick, dark, claustrophobic. Every noise could be an animal or your own mind playing tricks. You start doubting your sanity. The sound design ramps up the fear. You hear twigs snap, bugs buzz, your breath get heavier, and you wonder, is that real, or is it the loneliness getting to you? The game plays with your senses, and it hooks you in a way that feels almost uncomfortable. What makes Green Hell so unique is how it refuses to hold your hand. It doesn't want you to win. It wants you to understand the cost of staying alive in a place that doesn't want you there. And when you finally build a shelter, purify water, scare off a jaguar, it's not just progress. It's a real victory, because you didn't survive a game. You survived the jungle. You wake up naked in a world shaped by ancient gods, a land of trials forged in Norse legends. Valheim doesn't start with urgency. It starts slow, a campfire, a wooden shack, a wild boar. But soon you realize this world isn't passive. Creatures lurk in the woods, storms come out of nowhere, and ancient gods are waiting to be challenged. The gameplay blends crafting, combat, and exploration. You gather wood, stone, rare metals, build weapons, fortresses, ships, and you can face this world solo, but it shines in co-op. Boss battles are mythic and brutal. They require planning, strategy, and guts. Combat is simple, but satisfying and impactful. The world is vast and procedurally generated. Frozen peaks, toxic swamps, deep oceans, each biome offers new challenges and rewards. The art style is unique, low poly, and stylized, yet incredibly atmospheric. Dense fog, epic sunsets, glowing auroras. Even with simple graphics, the game mesmerizes you. The natural soundscape pulls you in completely. Valheim doesn't rush. It builds, it asks for patience, but rewards you with real meaning. Not by giving you overpowered loot, but by making every step feel earned. Every stone placed in your base, every meal cooked, every monster defeated, it all matters. And even after hours of play, you still want to come back, because that world welcomes you, and you feel like you belong there. A world swallowed by a living mist that consumes everything it touches, Enshrouded throws you in too late. Civilization is already gone, and danger is everywhere. You're not just fighting monsters, you're fighting the fog itself, which mutates the world, corrupts creatures, and forces you to move in and out with strategy. It's survival wrapped in dark fantasy. Base building is essential. You're not just making a house, you're crafting fortresses that matter for defense, crafting in safe zones. But the most unique part is how the mist controls where you can go and what you need to survive in it. Gear, resistances, escape routes, every expedition takes planning. And the combat? Fast, impactful, built around agility and combos. The visuals are stunning: devastated ruins, fog-drenched forests, shattered castles. The art style blends soft light with decaying color palettes. Enemies are grotesque, like creatures torn from forgotten legends. There's a constant tension and mystery. You never know what's in the fog until you're surrounded, and that keeps everything alive. Enshrouded is about moving forward, even in fear, about exploring a broken world that's still worth walking through, knowing each step might be your last. It blends action, RPG, and survival seamlessly, and the feeling of clearing the fog, reclaiming space, pushing it back, it hits hard. This is the kind of game that grabs you because it never stops challenging you. You get in the car and drive straight into the unknown. Pacific Drive is a first-person survival game with your car as your only ally, a twisted world full of physical anomalies, electromagnetic storms, and creatures that make no sense. You have to run, escape, improvise, and care for your car like it's your home, because it is. Every run is a race against time. You enter the exclusion zone to gather resources, dodge dangers, find routes, and make it back alive. Your car is customizable, repairable, upgradable, but not invincible. And when it breaks down in the middle of an anomaly storm, panic sets in. You have to get out, fix it, make do, and hope you're not consumed by something you don't understand. The visuals are surreal. Twisted forests, lights that defy physics, sounds from nowhere. The map shifts constantly, and the weather feels cursed. Yet there are beautiful moments, the headlights cutting through darkness, rain tapping the windshield, the engine roaring as you escape. It's like driving through a nightmare and not wanting to wake up. Pacific Drive leaves you alone, but doesn't abandon you. Your car becomes your extension, your shelter, your companion, and every return to the garage feels like victory. Because out there, nothing makes sense. But inside that car, you still have control, and that's enough. It's a weird, brilliant, unforgettable game. And if you give it a chance, you'll understand why it's worth every minute. Everything's gigantic. A mushroom casts a shadow, a cockroach is a monster. In Smalland Survive the Wilds, you've been shrunk down, and now the world is a brand new, dangerous place. Grass is a jungle, rain is a hurricane. You have to learn everything from scratch: how to build shelter, what to eat, what to run from, and the fun is exactly that: figuring out how to survive when you're tiny. The gameplay mixes exploration, combat, and crafting, but with a twist. You climb branches, build homes in trees, run from angry ants. Materials are gathered carefully, and every armor set, crafted from bug parts, changes your resistance and fighting style. Navigation is vertical, the world is dense, and the challenge never lets up. Nothing is easy when you're just a few centimeters tall. The art is charming, natural textures, light filtering through leaves, the wind swaying giant plants. It all makes you feel like you're living in a new world. But beneath that cozy look, there's real danger. A wasp can kill you in seconds, and nighttime, even worse. The world is beautiful, but it's not kind. Smalland works because it dares to be different. It doesn't copy the survival giants, it creates its own rules. Every win feels like mischief. Every treetop hideout feels like a personal victory. And you keep going because the next challenge always looks more ridiculous. In the end, it delivers exactly what it promises: survival in a world where everything is bigger than you. You're stuck in a realm between dimensions. A floating track stretches through the void, and your train, rusty, makeshift, is the only thing between you and the unknown. Voidtrain is survival on the move. No ground, no base, just this train you slowly upgrade, car by car, while gathering resources and facing bizarre creatures that emerge from the nothingness. Gameplay revolves around expanding your train and venturing onto suspended islands. You tether yourself with a safety rope, float through the void, collect metal, fuel, food, and rush back before something grabs you. Everything is strange. The world feels like a steampunk fever dream. And somehow, despite how insane it all sounds, it flows naturally and stays tense the whole time. Visually, Voidtrain is wildly original. Nothing else looks like it. Floating machines, translucent monsters, dimensional storms. The game blends sci-fi, surrealism, and retro design in a constantly changing world. And that train sound, usually comforting, just makes you more uneasy, because you never know where danger's coming from. Maybe even inside. What makes Voidtrain so addictive is the fact that you never stop, your base is a vehicle, your refuge never stands still, and that changes everything. With each new car, you gain freedom, but you also attract attention. And then you ask yourself, is it safer to stop, or better to keep moving and never look back? It's a strange, bold, and absolutely captivating game. The planet seemed perfect. Oxygen, forests, life, but the truth is, it's deadly to the core. Icarus drops you into timed missions, where you descend from orbit, complete objectives, and try to make it back alive. If you die, you lose everything. If you take too long, same thing. That mix of urgency and brutal nature turns every drop into a tense, almost desperate mission. Building is deep and demands planning. You have to craft shelters, weapons, traps, cook, mine, and protect your inventory like your life depends on it, because it does. When the clock runs out, it's over. It's like nature is always sprinting against you, and when it rains, it's to destroy. Lightning storms, blizzards, wind. The weather is your worst enemy. The visuals are stunning. Dense forests, towering mountains, wild animals that really hunt you. The planet looks beautiful, but it's a lie. It draws you in with landscapes and destroys you with surprises. Every detail is crafted to feel both real and ruthless. You feel small, fragile, and constantly adapting. That feeling never leaves, even in calm moments. Icarus is a constant loop of risk and reward. The longer you stay, the more you build, mine, progress. But you're also more likely to lose it all, and that creates real tension. It's not just about being good, you have to be fast, efficient, and cold. And when you return to orbit with all your loot intact, it feels like a true win, one that few games manage to deliver. No rifles, no helicopters, no modern cities. In Far Cry Primal, you're thrown thousands of years into the past, where survival means fire and stone. You're part of a tribe trying to control a savage valley, where every beast can be hunted or hunt you, and enemy clans will try to kill you just for stepping on the wrong land. The wild doesn't forgive. Combat is raw, physical, brutal. Spears, bows, clubs, each weapon has real weight. You don't shoot, you hurl. You don't drive, you ride wild animals. And the game lets you tame beasts, forming bonds with wolves, tigers, even bears. They become allies, protectors, hunting partners. It's all instinct, all muscle, and that changes how you face the world. The world is incredible, dense jungles, dark caves, rivers hiding crocodiles, everything feels alive. You hear tribal drums in the distance, see smoke rising far off, and know it's a threat. The immersion is so deep that just walking a few minutes makes you forget you're in a game. It really feels like you've gone back in time, where every step matters. Far Cry Primal is often overlooked, but it delivers something rare, survival in a carefully crafted primitive setting. No GPS, no guns, no help, just you, fire, and the will to conquer the land. And when your tribe starts growing, when you feel your mark on this brutal world, you realize every fight was worth it, and every silence too. For years, I ignored this game, thought the graphics were basic, the gameplay too slow, it just didn't catch my eye. But when I finally gave it a shot, I realized I'd missed one of the most powerful games I've ever played. The Walking Dead isn't about zombies, it's about people, about choices, about regret. It hits like a punch to the gut and stays with you long after. The choices hurt, you save one or the other, lie or tell the truth, accept help or turn it down, and every decision changes the story. Sometimes you make the wrong call, sometimes even the right one hurts. The dialogue is heavy, the looks say more than the words, and every episode leaves you emotionally wrecked, but desperate for more. The art may seem simple, but it works. The comic book style gives it a unique feel, and the world is raw, abandoned homes, ruined farms, dead cities, but what grips you are the connections, the quiet moments, the loaded silences, the conflicts born not from malice but survival, and that's what makes it so human, so real. The Walking Dead doesn't wow you with visuals or action, it creeps in, settles in your chest, and makes you feel you don't play to win, you play to protect, to try, even when you know you'll fail. And when it ends, you don't feel relief, you mourn, because you don't forget what you went through or who you lost. It's one of the most emotional games you'll ever play. If any of these games ever made your palms sweat, let me know in the comments which one hit you the hardest. And if you enjoyed this list, drop a like, It helps the channel a ton. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that red button so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you're craving more tense action, check out the video on the screen. It's packed with the best survival and action games to play in 2025, only the ones that never let you breathe.